In Iraq, government forces are claiming gains in the fight for power and territory. The Iraqi military says it retook 2 villages from the extremist ISIL group and 2 border crossings. Soldiers clashed with the militants to the west and north of Baghdad. As the jihadists fled these 2 regions, they left behind their weapons and vehicles, torching them as they went. But ISIL still holds key outposts to the north, and the U.S. is pressing Iraq's Prime Minister al-Maliki to unify Iraq. And that means including all sectarian factions. Ayman Mohyeldin has more from Erbil.
Mr. President, how are you?
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry concluded his trip to Iraq today by holding meetings here in the Kurdish city of Erbil with some of this region's most senior leadership, including the Kurdistan Regional Government's President Masoud Barzani. Now, the two discussed a whole host of issues, but one of the most pressing issues that Secretary of State John Kerry tried to impose on the Kurdish leadership was to participate in a new government that is now currently being formed, or at least being discussed, by the current Prime Minister, al-Maliki.
Any choices that might be in front of the president with respect to ISIL and military action or anything else really will depend on the capacity of the government to follow through. If there's no legitimate government here, anything else can be wasted.
But one of the things that the Kurdish leadership has told NBC News repeatedly is that they want to see Prime Minister al-Maliki go. And we've heard as well over the course of the last several days some of the same calls being echoed by senior members of his political party as well as some of this country's top leadership. But on the ground, the situation remains rather tense. The Iraqi army says it still holds the Beji oil refinery, the largest in the country, despite the fact that ISIS militants are claiming to have overrun it and now are in control of it. So there are some mixed reports as to who is actually firmly in control of that refinery. Meanwhile, along the border, the Iraqi army has stepped up some of its airstrikes on suspected hideouts belonging to ISIS militants. Ayman, Mohyeldin, Erbil.